Hi, this is Anna Imagination with the Healing Garden. I wrote this article this morning and I posted it everywhere, but I really want to read it now and just share it with you. Personal laws. I just wrote those words and it occurred to me that the difference between authentic living and sheep living. When you live by personal laws, life becomes very different. Sheep living. Now we all go through sheep stages. We all start off as followers, but we live, we love, we break, we grow. And one day you wake up and realize that being a sheep in a lifestyle that is not yours is killing you slowly. But how do you stop doing what you've been groomed into doing all your life? How do you just switch modes? And you don't. You can't shift modes until you define personal truths. And that is when the game changes. That is when your sheep days are over. But no leader, no followers are on this path. Just you. And I remember how hard it was at first. So I am a guide, not a coach, not a therapist. I am a guide who found you wandering the world for answers. I recognize the signs of a starseed shedding sheep's clothing. I know the pain, the loss, the fear. I know the confusion. I was 4 when I first shed my sheep's clothing. I suffered greatly. The abuse was designed to get me back in their box. It took me longer than most to learn the lesson, and by 22, they finally broke me and I obeyed. It was the only time my father told me he was proud of me, when he saw me conform to his perspectival expectations. And then for 20 years, I died a slow death under the sheep's lifestyle. I escaped in 2020 and remembered who I was. I remembered everything that I am. And now I live my life at the edge of the forked road, welcoming those who find their ways to the steps of my garden. I open my arms and let you fall into me. I hold you and say, it's okay now. You're home. You're safe. Welcome to the Healing Garden. Everyone within has walked the same road to get here. I am the keeper who gives it name so you may understand what has been done to you, so you can understand, process, heal. And now, let's get you your own personal laws. I live for this moment, when I hold my arms out to another and say, welcome to the Healing Garden. For me, I'm really saying, you're safe now. You're home. There is family here. Most of us are women. Most of us are empaths. Most of us feel the energy pool. I have classes for that. Most of us are healers in the making. We are the therapists of the new age to come, and I lead and teach them. I show them how to live true to their own song, as you will learn how to live through yours. Registration in my modern Alexandria is optional, but it comes with many benefits. We have classes, workshops, resorts, celebrations, support. We are a family. I provide all the resources you need to help you flourish outside of the system. You can stay, you can go, you can be, you are free. Welcome to the Healing Garden. My announcements and news are made in the amphitheater. I am Anna Imagination, and this is my garden, where the nonconformist, the broken, the lost finds unconditional love, acceptance, home, family, and belonging, all while you work to find yourself. Welcome home. I debated on whether or not I should say something after, and I will. Registration for the amphitheater is below. when you find your song, it's this solid anchor. It's been there the whole time. That's the most shocking thing about the process, is when you realize the whole damn time it was always there. And that's when you realize just how horribly you were abused, because the abuse was designed to just get you to conform to their rules and perspective at the expense of your own. And that's the abuse, that's the pain, that's the suffering, at the expense of your own. When I put together the Healing Garden, I didn't have any of these words. I had no way to communicate or articulate the feelings, the realizations, and the perspectives. And that's why I started podcasting, is so I could define what it was I was really dealing with. I've been doing this for a very long time now, a year. And the more I talked, the more I discovered my own identity and my own voice. The more I was able to put to word what's been done to us and the kind of people I collect. I went to business classes because when I first started out, I couldn't find my niche. I couldn't find my people. I couldn't figure out my message because there were just no words. And it took me a long time to realize that it wasn't my marketing that was a problem or my niche. It was just the lack of communication. But once the words were found, I was able to put everything into place. And this calm just settled over me, because words are compasses. Words are anchors. Words are coordinates. Words are coordinates. Words are X's on maps that tell you where it is you want to go. And words are that gorgeous little arrow that points to a spot on a piece of paper that says, you are here. I couldn't even tell people 3 months ago what it is I did for a living. I used a lot of words that I throw around trying to figure out what I am and what I do. And I've had this vision of the Healing Garden in my head since September of 2022. May of 2022. It was May of 2022. The whole thing just came to me. Mercury retrograde. And I was so enamored with the vision. I quit my job the next day and dedicated my life to this. Because there are so many people like this who are wandering, lost, confused. And the sixth perspective is not nice. The sixth perspective is hell. Your hippocampus is large. Physics is starting to interfere with you. You can feel the electromagnetic field. And in some of us, it's ripping us apart. And it is very confusing. It's terrifying. I was so scared when I first started my sixth perspective that I got an MRI done on my brain just to make sure I wasn't having an aneurysm. I was terrified. And there's no one there to take you by the hand and say, it's okay, that's normal. Your hippocampus is just large. So now you're feeling it, and physics is playing with you. It's okay. It's all right. This is normal. It's okay. We'll take care of you. So that's what I do. I am a welcoming committee to the matrix, or I should say, to exiting the matrix. That's really what the healing garden is. People come to me and they talk about healing, and they talk to me about therapy and holistic methods, and that's not really what I do. Those are the tools I provide, but that's not what I do. What I do is I have set up this massive welcoming center for people who have exited the system and are seeking to pursue their own law now. And there's no guidance for those people, there's no direction. And there really needs to be. Not to say this is how you should, we're done with that, we don't do that here. But to say it's okay. What you're feeling and experiencing is normal. It's okay now. There's a lot of people here just like you. There's a lot of people here just like you. Here, I give definition and explanation for what's happening. I give you the words so you can see and understand what's going on. That's really what I do here. And the more I talk to people, the more they have epiphany, the more they realize, the more, this is my favorite part, it's the clarity. It's the, oh, thank God there's answers. And I get it. I get it. I did so much when I first crossed over. I scrambled, and I have 30 years of psychology. I have 30 years of philosophy. And even with all of my information and knowledge and education, there was still nothing that explained this. It was when I studied the hippocampus and the brain, when I studied physics and the magnetic field, that it all made so much more sense. When I studied perspective psychology, there is no such thing, I made it up. When I realized what perspective psychology is, and when I was able to finally see the big umbrella of perspective, that is when everything made sense. And that's really when I could start to see how everything else was done wrong just because we were different. Some people are really good at conforming, and that's okay, that's their song. Some people are really, really good at fitting in, and that's okay, that's their song. But there is not a place for the rest of us. When you're a black sheep, you're cast out. You're labeled a nithing. Oh, that's going to be a podcast video later. A nithing. A nithing is an Old Norse word for nothing. It was the lowest societal label that you could possibly get from a Scandinavian culture 1,000 years ago. Slaves had more rights than a nithing. The word nithing gave birth to our word nothing, except nithing was a noun. You are a nithing. I deem you a nithing. You existed outside of the law. You could kill anyone without consequence when you are a nithing, and be killed. And there would be no consequence. You were nameless. You were nothing. You're a nithing. That's what's been done to us. If you don't conform, you're a nithing. Nameless, worthless, nothing. Black sheep, outcast. Thrown away, ostracized by your own family, left to wander the world without home or family or identity, because they took your identity away from you. And then when you couldn't conform, they throw you away. It's a death sentence. So the healing garden exists on the other side. And I pick people up and I say, welcome home. And I give them the words so they understand, so they can process. We are the nithings that society threw away because we couldn't conform. We are the leftovers of a society that fucked us up, that broke us. And when we still failed to conform, they threw us away. That is what we are. The Healing Garden is home to the castaways. I loved articulating that we give you a place to belong, a home, a family, unconditional love, acceptance, all while you fight to heal and find out who you are. I would have given anything for that when I healed. But I had something else. I had a single man who gave me the Healing Garden equivalent. He's the inspiration for the Healing Garden. He's the co-owner because this idea, this concept, this is what he did for me. And now I built it, what he did for me, and I give it to other people. Everybody who needs it. So we have integration workshops, classes, education centers. I do events, respites, healing circles live, in real life. I go on holiday resorts. I invite you with me. We have one coming up in February. We have nonconformist events, lifestyle events, anything you could possibly imagine for a nonconformist who doesn't fit into a society that doesn't want them. We have our own society over here. There is no law except your own personal truth. We hold you accountable to self-govern. That's the difference, really. Here, you self-govern, and you are held accountable to do so. We teach you how, we give you the tools, any resources you could possibly imagine. We have an optional registration available, which is subscribing to the amphitheater. That link is below. And it comes with a starter pack, your healing journey plan, finding your coordinates. My YouTube channel is the university. It's just the university. It's all of my classes where I sit down and I give you all the words that I've accumulated to say, this is what's happened to you. This is what you're doing. And this is some options about where you can take this. It's a map. It's conscious awareness. It's everything you could possibly desire in a society that exists outside of the system. We have World Peace Manifestation Day coming up in June. And you know what? This is the very first video where I am looking at you and finally speaking my authentic truth. This is really what I'm doing here. I'm building a society for the people who have been rejected by society. I'm not building a government. You. No, here you self-govern. But there are no facilities outside, inside for us. So I'm giving you the garden. And it feels really good to finally be able to articulate these words. I am Anna Imagination. Take a look at my website, www.annashealinggarden.org. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. And welcome to the Healing Garden.